The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls is proud to partner with Central Insurance Companies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcome. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a regular town board meeting, Town of Queensbury. It's October 19th, 2020, and the time is 7 p.m. And before we can begin the regular agenda items, if you would all please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. Did you stand, Harrison? Oh, okay. I always wonder what to do, the new protocols. Anyways, we do have to set public hearings for sewage disposal variance applications, which means we need to move into the Board of Health. But before I do that, I would like to recognize some of our town employees. So I have some certificates, and I'd like to mention their names, and I'd like to give them credit. The certificates for our employees, and I'll share the names in a minute, but the certificates all say the same. To this person, in grateful appreciation for your outstanding, dedicated service and devotion to the town of Queensbury. And it's a 30 years of service certificate. And they will be going to Michael Muller, Judge Muller, Esquire Muller, Michael Trombley, Tom Madison, Steve Lovery. Those are some outstanding individuals. Not only should they get credit for their 30 years of service, but they should give credit for helping to make our town, our beautiful town of Queensbury, a beautiful place to live in. And they certainly have done their part to do that, make Queensbury a great place to live.
Supervisor, also on the list, it says Paul Finch.
Oh, Paul Finch, yeah. Well, he was, but he's not. Paul Finch. Sorry. Thank you, George. Paul Finch's certificate got stuck, but we did catch that too when we did a review of who has 30 years in. So Paul Finch, and I can say the same thing for Paul that I said for all the others, and it would stand true. All right, thank you all. I'm going to ask the town board to sign these certificates, and we'll send them out to our great employees. All right. So next, we'll move into the local Board of Health to deal with setting the public hearing on 2 sewage disposal variance applications. So is there a motion to move into the local Board of Health?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Perone, seconded by Councilman McGee, Councilperson McGee. All those in favor of moving into the Queensbury Local Board of Health, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it's unanimous. So we're now in the Queensbury Local Board of Health. Rose, would you please read to the public the first consideration for this town board, or this Board of Health?
The resolution setting a public hearing on sewage disposal variance application of Scott Irwin and Sheila Fail.
All right, Scott Irwin and Shirley Fella, or Fella, depending if it's Southern or Northern European, 30 Sullivan Road. There was a change of deed, and upon the septic inspection, the septic was found deficient. So Tom Hutchins is the engineering. It's a 2-bedroom place. It's near Glen Lake. It's not on Glen Lake. It's on 30 Sullivan Road. They're asking for 3 variances. One variance would be 4 foot from the house instead of the required 10-foot setback, and they're talking about the septic tank. And 4 foot from the property line instead of the required 10-foot setback, and 27 feet from the well instead of the required 50-foot setback. So this is for property on 30 Sullivan Road, and we are setting the public hearing if this town or this Board of Health approves. We're setting the public hearing for November 2nd. So is there a motion to approve setting the public hearing for the sewage disposal variance application of Scott Irwin and Sheila Bella? All right, Harrison made that motion. Amanda McGee seconded the motion. Councilperson McGee seconded the motion. A roll call vote on that, please, Rose.
Councilperson Freer.
Yes.
Perone.
Yes.
McGee. Yes. Stroud.
Yeah,
And Medevere.
Yes.
it's unanimous. We'll see you on November 2nd here at the Activity Center. That's Monday night. And our next and last item, please, Rose.
Resolution setting a public hearing on sewage disposal variance application of Roberta Kahan.
All right, this is Kahan. This is for a residence on 61 Knox Road, owned by Roberta Kahan. Dennis McRoy of Environmental Design Partnership is the engineer. They're putting in a replacement wastewater system, but need us to consider 4 variances. They are as follows. First variance, absorption field to be 2 foot from the south side property line instead of the required 10-foot setback. 2, force main piping to be 5 foot from the north side property line instead of the required 10-foot setback. 3, effluent line piping to be 5 foot from the north side property line instead of the required 10-foot setback. And 4, septic tank to be 3 foot from the north side property line instead of the required 10-foot setback. This is for property located on 61 Knox Road. This is to set the public hearing on this for November 2nd, which will be held here. It's a Monday, here in the Activity Center at 7 p.m. All right. If there is a motion to set the public hearing on sewage disposal variance application of Roberta Kahn, please speak up.
So moved.
All right. Moved by Councilperson Brown, seconded by
I'll second.
Councilperson Medevere. Roll call vote on setting the public hearing.
Councilperson Perone.
Yes.
McGee. Yes. Stroud.
Yes.
Medevere.
Yes.
And Freer.
Yes. All right, unanimous. Those are the only items that we have for the local Board of Health. May I have a resolution to move out of the Queensbury Local Board of Health, please?
So moved.
Moved by Councilperson Brown, seconded by Councilperson Freer. All those in favor of moving out of the Queensbury Board of Health, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, it's unanimous. We're now out of the Board of Health. We move now to a hearing. And the hearing, if you'll introduce that to the public, please, Rose.
This is a hearing on Northeast Power Systems, Inc.'s application for variance waiver request from sanitary sewer connection requirement set forth in Town Code Chapter 136, Sewers and Sewage Disposal.
Okay, thank you, Rose. Yeah, we're to consider approving or disapproving a request from a variance And this variance is being put forward by Northeast Power Systems. But, Bob, Northeast Power Systems was, since this resolution was originally proposed, it's already changed hands. So, what difference would that make? We have the attorney for Northeast Power Systems, and
It's the property is owned by a different person now?
yes, would you please
Yes.
identify yourself first?
Hi, good evening. My name is Julia Stechik. I'm an attorney with Northeast Power Systems. We were recently acquired by American Superconductor. They are aware of this variance application. They are on the same page as we were when we submitted the variance application.
So is Northeast Power Systems still a separate corporation? It's just owned by,
We are
or did it merge out of existence?
a wholly owned subsidiary of American Superconductor.
And the property is still owned by Northeast Power Systems?
The property is still owned. Well, it's still under Northeast Power Realty LLC.
Okay.
And now this is owned, instead of by Frank, Peter, and Paul Stechik, it is now owned by American Superconductor.
It doesn't sound like it requires anything particular. It was owned by a corporate entity that's still owned by that corporate entity. The individuals owning it sold it to some others.
And my feeling was that the variance goes with the property anyways.
Yes. So I don't see an issue, but I was not aware of the,
Yeah, well, just wanted to be safe.
no, it's
All right.
good. It mattered the answer, whether we're going to tell her to put in a new application.
All right, thank you, Town Council Bob Hafner. All right, Town Board, any questions for the applicant for this variance to, let me tell the public a little bit more about it. It's the variance, they want a waiver from tying up to the new Perry Road sewer. This waiver would be for 2 years. This waiver does not mean that they're exempt from anything other than having to tie up at this time. In other words, they have to, and they are willing to, pay the full and usual sewer rents, assessments, taxes, and everything else that would accompany this 2-year variance, this 2-year extension, up until October 19th of 2021. And again, it's provided that the applicant connect to the West Queensbury Sanitary Sewer District within 2 years, and no further extension will be granted in the meantime if there is any change in the property use, increase in septic use, or additional bathroom facilities added. Then such variance shall be immediately terminated unless the town board reviews and approves a new application for a variance or waiver. And furthermore, if the septic system is determined to fail or modified by the applicant, or if the ownership of the property is transferred, then the variance is terminated as well. But in this case, we're already aware of the transference. So that's going to be taken into account by this town board if we decide to move on this application tonight. So one of the reasons why they're doing this is because the septic systems, the on-site septic systems, are new, fairly new, relatively new, and are functioning quite well at this time. So all they're doing is asking for a delay in hooking up if this town boards are willing to go through that.
You actually had misspoke about the extending 2 years to 2022.
Did I say wrong date?
Yeah, you said 21.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for
I
correcting.
just want to make sure.
2022. All right.
Resolution has 2022.
Right.
All right. So if you're inclined to approve this, then that's also saying, as you go through this, you have certain selections. If you're inclined to approve, then you're also saying that in the first resolve, A, that you would not, that granting of this variance or waiver would not be materially detrimental to the purposes and objectives of the Queensbury Town Code, Chapter 136, and or adjourning properties or otherwise conflict with the purpose and objectives of any plan or policy of the town of Queensbury. And you would select B, you would take is reasonable, that granting this variance or waiver is reasonable and would alleviate unnecessary hardship on the company that currently owns it. And then to the next resolve, that the Queensbury Town Board hereby approves, and on the third sentence, the connection to sewers, and hereby grants applicant and a 2-year extension of time until October 19th, 2022. All right, so if you make the motion to approve this, you're also agreeing to what I've just mentioned. Is there any further questions? Is there a motion then to approve, to grant this variance?
I'll second.
All right, so motion made by Councilperson McGee, seconded by Councilperson Perrone. Roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Stroud,
Yes.
Medevere,
Yes.
Freer,
Freer, you're on mute.
Yes. Yes.
Barone,
Yes.
and McGee. Yes.
All right, it's unanimous. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
All right. Next, we have 8 resolutions. I will go through and describe each of the resolutions before the town board tonight. And if any member of the public, those of the public here, those of the public who are watching it on YouTube, or those of the public that were following us on Zoom, if you have a question on any of the resolutions, I will give you the opportunity to question or thought or whatever the case may be. I'll give you the opportunity to do so after I describe the resolution. Now, if there's another topic you wish to speak to that's a town topic, I will give you an opportunity at the end of the meeting where it comes to privilege of the floor. And you have a 4-minute limit. So if that's the case, all right, so this segment of the meeting is just for the resolutions, and there's 8 of them. I'll describe them, and if you want to make comment to that, I'll give you the opportunity to do so. Those people who are watching through YouTube, you will call in. After I get done describing the resolutions, you'll call in at area code 518-761-8225. 761-8225. Okay. And Zoom, you'll raise your hand, and I will allow you to ask the question. Okay. So here we go. For the resolutions, if you'll introduce the resolution for the public, please, Rose. 4.1.
So resolution setting public hearing on Town of Queensbury 2021 preliminary budget.
All right. So this is to set the public hearing. That's what this resolution is doing. It's setting the public hearing on the preliminary budget, the 2021 preliminary budget. That public hearing, if this resolution passes tonight, will be set for November 2nd, Monday. And again, that's all this resolution is doing, is setting the public hearing. The budget, if you wish to view it, is on our website. This also includes setting the salaries for elected people. There was no change, as there hasn't been for God knows how long, for the town supervisor and the council person. Town clerk, 77,448 is up 2.5%. Town highway superintendent is 78,287. That's up 2.5%. Town justices are 54,437, up 2.5%. And again, 0% for town supervisor and town council person. And the budget, again, this is a resolution to set the public hearing. If you have something to say about the budget, please save it for November 2nd, or you can talk about it at the end of the privilege of the floor segment. 4.2,
Resolution authorizing award of bid for purchase of pickup truck for Building and Grounds Department.
all right. We gave the approval to go out to bid. They went out to bid. The lowest responsible bidder for the truck that they need, a 2021 Dodge Ram pickup truck, for an amount not to exceed $33,010.26. And this is in accord with the New York State Office of General Services Procurement Program. And this was from group number 40440, award number 23166, and contract number PC 68941. 4.3,
Resolution authorizing agreement between the Town of Queensbury and Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce and Convention and Visitors Bureau.
okay, so the Town of Queensbury has worked with the Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce and Convention. We pay them to do a lot of work for us. So this is for a contract that will start November 1st and go through a 2-year contract. And it's $18,500 a year. And that's the same price as it has been as we've contracted with the chamber. And they represent us on all their venues. They also distribute our brochures at some of the throughway places and so forth. They do a lot for Queensbury. They enable us to meet many of the business people that they work with, so we get to know their points of view, and we can tailor what we're doing here at Queensbury to be business friendly. So we enjoy working with them. This is renew the contract for 2 more years. 4.4,
Resolution authorizing closure of State Police Barracks Addition Capital Project Fund number 155.
all right, so we did the carpeting, we did some work on the exterior, and we have $35,123 still remaining, but the project is complete. So fund number 155 may be closed. So that will close that Fund 155 and transfer the remaining balance to the Capital Reserve Fund 64. 4.5,
Resolution rejecting bids and authorizing purchase of 2019 model LT 625 International 6x4 truck for Highway Department.
all right, the Highway Department has needed for some time, the other one is gone, a heavy haul tractor, truck. And it's needed to mobilize all the heavy equipment that we have here in town. It's used, what David Newell, our highway superintendent, it's used almost every day. Absolutely. And we're hurting without it. So we have leftover CHIPS money. So we could buy this new international truck using CHIPS fund. Now, CHIPS this year, we're not able to roll it over. That's correct, Dave?
It's over there.
Yeah. So we need to use it. And this truck is available through HL Gauge Sales for the amount of $111,797 as set forth in the HL Gauge Sales quote. And this is through Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a piggyback, and it's a cooperative municipal purchasing program that specifically benefits municipalities countrywide, including the town of Queensbury. So they did the bidding for us, and this is for a new truck, badly needed. It is a 2019 International LT 625 6x4 truck from HL Gauge Sales. Resolution 4.7,
4.6,
4.6,
resolution to amend 2020 budget.
4.6 is shifting money from where it wasn't needed to where it is needed. The only big one is the $9,000, and Chris Harrington in the water department needs a new pump, and some things you can't budget for. It just happens. All right, so we were able to shift money so we can buy pump for South Queensborough. 4.7.
Resolution authorizing advertisement of bids for purchase of vertical turbine pump motor for water department.
All right. The town of Queensbury's water superintendent has advised that a 300 horsepower motor to one of the water department's vertical turbine pumps was found to have a serious electrical issue during a routine maintenance inspection and has been taken out of service. And therefore, he wishes to advertise for bids for a purchase of a new 300 horsepower motor, as will be set forth in bid specifications to be prepared by the water superintendent and/or the purchasing agent. Now, he is hoping to get this pump fixed, but if it's not fixable, he wants to be able to go out to bid, and this resolution would allow him to go out to bid if approved by the town board tonight. And the last resolution tonight, please, Rose.
Resolution approving audit of bills, warrant 10/20/2020.
All right, so this is a warrant with a run date of October 15th, 2020, and a payment date of October 20th, 2020, totaling $721,990.54. Those are the 8 resolutions before the town board tonight. Is there any member of the public present who wishes to speak to any of the resolutions before this town board tonight? Is there any member of watching us on YouTube that wishes to call in for area code 518-761-8225? Please do so. In the meantime, are there any attendees and the Zoom that wish to speak to any of the 8 resolutions before this town board tonight? Okay, seems to be no public interest in the 8 resolutions before the town board tonight. Are there any particular resolutions that a member of the town board would like to have pulled for a roll call vote? Okay, is there a motion then to approve resolutions 4.1 through 4.8? Moved by Councilperson Medevere, seconded by Councilperson McGee. Roll call vote on approving the 8 resolutions before this board tonight, please. Rose?
Councilperson Medevere.
Yes.
Freer.
Yes.
Barone.
Yes.
McGee. Yes. And Straub.
Yeah. All right, so the 8 resolutions passed. Any correspondence?
Yes. The 2021 preliminary budget was received in the town clerk's office on October 16th, and it will be on file in the town clerk's office.
Okay. Thank you. All right, privilege of the floor. This is an opportunity for anyone to talk to the town board about the town issue. And so anybody here in the public have anything they would like to talk to the town board about today? Anybody watching YouTube, feel free to call in. The only thing is that you have to have an identification that shows up on this phone. And the number is area code 518-761-8225. All right, while we're waiting for any phone calls that may be forthcoming, is there anybody watching this on Zoom that wishes to have any say in any of the town board issue? Travis? So, having none, we'll now go to town board discussions. Start with Tony.
Getting a little bit of flack, especially last week after approving some vehicles. I talked to Dave about it, the highway superintendent. Those vehicles that we purchased were purchased with CHIPS money. And people don't understand that, and I think they should.
They were purchased
with CHIPS money.
Oh, yeah, and if we're, what Dave has heard is that the CHIPS money would not be allowed to roll over. next year's money, CHIPS money will be, we've got to assume it's going to be less. And if you don't spend it, you'll lose it. We need this truck very badly. So this now, Dave can go out and get his truck, and it should be good for 10 or more years.
Many years, yes.
Many years.
So that's not town money. That's money that
That's
was
CHIPS money.
right. So I just wanted to make sure people understand that because, like I said, we're getting some grief for it. We're trying to catch up from 2008, which has not been easy. We talk about it all the time, and you know we might be spending a lot of money, but it's much needed. And with the CHIPS money and the fact that we're going to lose it, it was a great opportunity for us to get these trucks that we bought. So I just wish some people would just get out our backs for it. I think we're doing the right thing there. We don't have a choice. So that's my take on that.
I agree with you.
So,
Anything else, Tom?
no, thank you.
George?
Received similar calls, but very important that you brought that up, Tony, that there was a lack of understanding that they thought these funds were coming out of general fund and tax money, and it's not. It's money that we get from the state, and if we don't use it, we'll lose it. So it's important that we get the equipment that we need. I've got a couple of items tonight. Normally I don't have anything. I don't want to steal your thunder, but Halfway Brook Trail, looking very good. Got your bridge done. But I just wanted to take a note of, I live on the Potter Road side of the watershed, but I do drive up Peggy Ann Road, and there are people who live on both sides of that watershed that think that that property is their personal dumping ground. And a lot of people drive down with their motorized lawnmowers. They dump their grass over there and everything. Here we put this trail in, we're spending money to beautify this area, and that's occurring, and I wish people wouldn't do that. So maybe if I make note of it here, some people pay attention.
Thank you, George. Much appreciated, because we've taken 2 dump truck loads, furniture, tires, building material, the people who dump back there, because we want the trail to be very nice, and Glens Falls wants the trail to be very nice, and they want their lower watershed to be nice, neat, and clean, and not be dumped on. Thank you, George, for bringing that forward.
My next point was, I'm glad that I gave our Ward 4 candidates a talking point with the Queensbury Central Volunteer Fire Department sirens. So I just wanted to make note of the fact that you and I, John and I, met with the volunteer fire company president and their current fire chief. We had a very nice meeting. While their members did vote to keep that siren running, they are being sensitive to the neighbors in that. We're trying to come up with something. John has volunteered to get our engineering folks involved to see if they can make some recommendations on that. So we are trying to find a solution to that. So it's not like nothing is being done there. So that's being taken care of. Also wanted to make mention that the Tuesday after our last meeting on October the 6th, we had our first Queensbury Road Safety Committee meeting. We discussed a number of safety issues. I think there were 13 road issues we reviewed. Tony's on that committee with me. I thought it was a good meeting. We have Dave Duell, our highway superintendent. We had a representative from Warren County Sheriff's Department, Community Development, Adirondack Glens Falls Transit Council. We had 2 citizen advocate people who were interested in that. So we had a good meeting, and we have a lot of action items to follow up on in regards to what we reviewed. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, George.
You're welcome.
And actually, before we get to Amanda Harrison.
For those who are wondering where I am, I'm remote at my house. I'm on quarantine because of travel and the governor's restrictions on returning from Colorado, which when I made my plans wasn't on the list of quarantine. state police now. The other point is I continue to get lots of questions and feedback and requests for help on sidewalks, and I'm trying to figure out how to sort of get our storage grade on sidewalk repair, improvement, etc. So I'm working it, but the crystal ball hasn't given me any good answers lately.
Is that it? Okay. Thank you, Harrison. Amanda, anything?
Yes. So with Steve Lovering hitting 30 years, the other day, my family and I were a bit stir crazy. So we took sandwiches and sat at a picnic table and at Hubby Pond Park and saw a Kindness Rocks project, which I thought was really great for, it doesn't have to be kids. So basically it says, take a rock if you need one, leave one if you have one. And the idea is, they're rocks painted with a positive word or something. And I think with kids and even adults feeling really isolated, I just thought it was so beautiful. And then the other thing, speaking of dumping, I have a meeting on Friday. I don't know if Harrison is going, but it will be with National Grid and the Queensbury Land Conservancy at the Sheriff's Department to talk about some misuse of land off of Corinth. And one of the issues that came up, in addition to the threat to the blue butterfly, Carner, thank you, but also tires in the water there can cause turbidity, which is a water violation, and there are some. So I'm just thrilled that National Grid and the Queensbury Land Conservancy and the Sheriff's Department were all eager to meet and talk about it. So I'll report back after we.
Good. Down by the lower watershed, we're going to have issues too, because we're putting down the finished grade, the surface, and their kids and their motorbikes going out and spinning out and purposely causing damage to them. And there's not supposed to be any unauthorized motorized vehicles in that lower watershed to start with. So,
would you like an invitation to the meeting?
Well, we'll probably get there.
Okay.
But, anything else, Amanda?
I think that's it.
And I thought George was going to bring this up, because you've been working with me on this all along, as the speed radar.
Oh, yes.
So we have 4 out of 6 up, 2 on Sweet Road and 2 on Dixon. And right now they're not doing anything. They're in a sleep mode, but they are taking data. Because what we want to see is what are the cars doing now versus after we activate this fully activated, because it is activated, but it's sleep activated. When we fully activate it, does it change drivers' behavior? Now, other studies have shown, and George and I went to the one of the conferences where one of the classes was about traffic safety and all the related stuff to it. So it's what gave us the idea to form Queensbury's Traffic Safety Committee, which George chairs. And so we got 4, and we got place for 2 more.
I'm glad you reminded me of that, because apparently there are keys to go to that. So.
Yeah, in my office.
All right, I'll have to grab one of those.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Also, the county did sort of comment on Halloween. We had brought it up at one of the meetings, and there's not, I don't think, a definitive thing, but there are some helpful suggestions when people are interested.
Yeah. I think that, a lot of people are going to really limit the traditional activities. It's too bad. I mean, we all grew up with Halloween. It was a wonderful experience for the kids, and we got plenty of money or candy, and that was all fun stuff. And that fun stuff, because of COVID, we just have to think of other fun things to do that limits the exposure to COVID. COVID's so vicious and nasty. So, anyway. The only other thing I got is that, I get the comments from the public that the sound quality isn't very good here. We're getting brand new microphones. We have Stored Tech helping us to put on a new sound system, and we're hoping that gets approved. So I wanted to announce that. And that's it for me, surprisingly.
Must be a good game on tonight or something.
Anything else for the good of the
Oh, is it
order?
Buffalo?
Well, the Buffalo Bills are playing right now.
That's what I just said.
If there's no further discussion, I want to thank Town Attorney Bob Hafner and Deputy Town Clerk Rose Mallon and Joe Barlow of Look TV and Peter Pape of Pape Productions for being here and helping us to make this as public as we humanly possibly can. I think Queensbury goes out of its way to be open and transparent, and this is just one indicator of how we're trying to do that. So, a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn made by Councilperson McGee, seconded by Councilperson Ferone. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous. Harrison?
The following program is underwritten by the generous support of Associates of Glens Falls and Loomis and Lipan Insurance. Since 1852, they have been assisting both businesses and individuals across the country secure the most comprehensive insurance products available. Associates of Glens Falls is proud to partner with Central Insurance Companies. Public affairs programming on Look TV is underwritten by the generous support of Pinnell's Restaurant, classic Italian American food since 1922, and Stored Tech, technology solutions for computers, networks, and phone. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.
1922, Babe Ruth debuts with the Yankees. WGY signs on air. Exterminator wins the Saratoga Cup, and Pinnell's Restaurant opens its doors for the very first time. For 5 generations, Pinnell's has been preparing delicious Italian food, served in a comfortable, home-like setting where everyone is welcomed. 90 years of authentic Italian recipes, 90 years of the freshest ingredients, and 90 years of the finest classic Italian dishes, all made daily by hand. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga dining tradition since 1922.
Most cybersecurity firms deal only with prevention, the systems that block hackers and viruses. Stored Tech knows the root cause is actually good people doing bad things. So we offer a security training program which includes certifying all participants to show they understand the basics.
Technology solutions for computers, networks, and phones. Stored Tech, your technology, our passion.